Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Make sure you hang around to the end of the episode. We have a message from a new sponsor. Greetings and welcome to episode number 101 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name is Barbara.
What's happening, Barbara? First time back after LMT Lab Day Chicago.
Oh, yeah. I finally think I've recuperated and it's Friday. As you know, I came down with the lovely stomach flu, gave it to my son, and then he gave it to his dad. So it's been a great week.
Yeah, so anybody that sat down with us to record, if you're sick, that's Barb's fault.
Yep.
She gave it to you.
Yep.
You didn't have to kiss everybody we talked to, you know. I mean, you didn't have to.
Yeah, well, I was just grateful that I made it till 2:45 because I was not feeling too hot, but I'm better now.
Lab Day Chicago was absolutely amazing.
Oh.
We talked to Judy, and her interview will be coming out eventually. But she mentioned that it is the highest attended lab day so far. So we'd like to see that the numbers are still growing.
Yeah, it's amazing. She said the same thing last year. So people just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. It was an excellent show. Both venues, both towers were full and fun. I saw people walking around with beer and everybody mingling, and it was just fantastic energy. Lots of really, really positive energy.
Yeah, it was so great. You know, the worst part is that there's always people that you think you're going to see in Chicago, but you never do because it's so busy.
Yep.
And then those that you do see, you see them on Thursday and you're like, great, but you don't see them again to say goodbye. There's so much going on.
Yep.
And of course, we had Cal Lab, which was amazing. Props to Jeff Strunk for his first year anchoring, hosting, whatever it's called, doing that. That was really good.
Yeah, he did amazing. Very proud. Very proud.
Great lineup, too. I mean, they had some fantastic speakers. I learned a lot at Cal Lab.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had CDT Fest on Friday, which was an outstandingly attended event. It was packed.
Yeah, it was super packed. People were there at like 4:45, ready to get in at 5, and everybody was happy and just hanging out and talking. It was just wonderful. I'm so happy that we're doing that. We're going to do it next year, too, so sign up.
It's free, people. Why would you not go?
Yep.
But we want to thank everyone who stopped by to see us. And really, we want to thank those who sat down and recorded with us.
Which was a ton of people, by the way.
Yeah, we had a lot of people sit down. We had some amazing conversations that we can't wait to bring to you. And of course, a big thanks to Argon for giving us the prime space to set up. Everybody at their booth was super cool and very helpful. And they asked us to come back to do it again next year.
Sweet. Awesome.
Can't wait. So this episode takes us back in time. All the way back to January of this year.
That's only a month ago.
I know. It seems so far ago.
Yeah, it's 1 month ago. Seems so far ago. Is that a sentence? Seems so far ago. Doesn't sound like correct English.
Seems like a long time ago. How's that?
Okay.
Sorry there, grammar queen.
Mm-hmm.
So we set up to record during the breaks at the NADL Visions 21 meeting. This year it was at the Palms Hotel and Casino, and it was a fantastic meeting. Not only did we ring in Barb as the president.
Yay!
That's what I was waiting for.
Yay!
But it was a great lineup of speakers and a good group of attendees. And because of the way the meeting is set up, we only had a short time to get people to come over to the table and record. So we have a bunch of really quick conversations.
But they're good.
And that is why we put 5 of them together for this episode. 4 of them are past podcast guests.
Sweet.
First up, we're happy to be joined by our friend from the north, Sean Siegel. Then we are joined by Steve Killian, CDT. And then we have newly crowned President Barb finally joins us as we talk with Don Albensi. And then we wrap up today's episode with past guest Heather Voss and the 2019 CDT of the Year Denise Burris. It's a lot of conversations and a lot of guests. So sit back and listen to why you should not miss next year's Vision 21 meeting.
Dun, dun, dun. Whew! So did you know that NOAC Dental carries all roll-in milling machines? Not only do they have an amazing price and trade-in promotions on the unit, but they are also offering an extra year of warranty on all new mill purchases, which is amazing. So reach out to NOAC Dental Digital Team at, write this down, 855-669-2533, or visit them at www.noacdigital.com.
Voices from the Bench. The interview. All right. We are here bright and early at Visions 21 2020. I am here with the Sean Siegel.
Thank you very much for having me.
We tend to record a lot at events. This is like the third or fourth time, I think, that we've caught you live.
Yeah.
We're still waiting to do the in-depth conversation where we'll do it remotely.
Sounds good.
But you were on stage
Wait a minute. Remotely, are you scared to come to Alaska, or what's the deal?
Well, a little bit. I'm not good in cold weather. But from what I hear, most of the time it's warmer than Indiana.
Fair enough.
So, you know what? I'll be there. Don't go anywhere. I'll be there.
I like it.
So last night you were on stage with the Foundation reception.
Yes, sir.
Awesome job, by the way.
Thank you.
Very natural. Didn't make anybody nervous. How did we do?
No, we did great, and this is certainly the first meeting of the year. Get things kicked off correctly, further the message of the foundation, and for all the boards for that matter. So NADL, NBC, and the foundation benefit from of course being present and participating in Visions. And again, it's a great way to get the year kicked off. We made reference to and focused on last night the Race to the Future 7.0. And getting folks excited about that. That'll be a late August event in Chicago where we attach ourselves to the nation's largest triathlon, the Chicago Triathlon. Again, great event. I'd like to keep that going, keep it rolling, keep it growing. And we were successful with our request, our ask last night in regards to sponsorships. I don't know what the total dollar amount is, but I can tell you it was well over $20,000.
Nice.
And we're well on our way to achieving. We'd like to get a $50,000-$60,000 goal met this year.
At this meeting, or
not necessarily at this meeting, but this is a great kickoff.
Oh, sure,
great kickoff, and just looking forward to it. I mean, you've done the event, Elvis, and it's a phenomenal group of people that attend. We'd like to grow that every year.
It's a fun time,
super fun time, and nothing more inspiring to see triathletes and for that matter people that aren't triathletes.
I get it.
So.
I'm surprised the people that participate sometimes, and it just shows what it's all about.
It is.
No one's out there to win the triathlon. Let's be honest. Nobody in our group is going to win the Chicago Triathlon. But what we are doing is winning for our industry.
Fair enough.
It's just so much fun.
It is.
And Barb and I probably talk about it a little too much on the podcast.
No.
Building up for it. But it's so great.
It's great. And I guess, the thing that I'd like to continue the message on throughout the year here, and we can certainly use your help here on Voices from the Bench, but let people know that it's anybody and everybody can come out to Chicago in August and participate in this thing with us. And so with 45 racers last year, it would be unbelievable to grow this thing and double it. Have 90 dental professionals get out there and do this. And it doesn't have, it'd be lovely if it was everybody from the lab industry, but let's get dentists doing it. Let's support, again, the growth of the foundation and utilize this platform, this awesome platform in August to do it.
Let's get so many people from an industry to go to the point where they have to change the name of the triathlon from Chicago to Dental Laboratory Triathlon. That's what we need.
Unbelievable.
And you gotta remind people that when people hear the word triathlon, they instantly think Ironman.
Yes.
Because I used to, honestly, and I never thought I could do it.
Right.
There are so many different lengths that really there's some in there that you don't need to be a super athlete. You could do a couple weekends to make sure you're not going to die and you're good to go.
Sure.
And it's all just about raising money and hanging out.
Yeah. Hey, man, for 45 minutes a year, I'm a triathlete, by the way. So that 15.1 mile bike ride is it's super fun to be out there with everybody.
Sure. And it's cool that they shut down Chicago for you.
It's
fun.
It is fun.
You don't get that very often.
It is fun. So the other thing, your partner in crime here, Barb, was super fun to see her
Presidente
introduction last night as president of the NADL. She has a great story in terms of family and history, and very inspiring in regards to her being president this year, and look forward to good stuff. So you'll have to, obviously, the two of you will have to capitalize on that while you're on the air.
I just hope she's as available as she's been. Because there might be a few solo episodes in my life this year because she's going to be awfully busy doing what she needs to do. But I think we'll all forgive her and understand.
Fair enough. She's doing a great job.
So I noticed during the video that you guys showed for the triathlon last year, no pictures of me. I don't know who put it together, but I was sporting a tank top and some short shorts. And you guys missed a perfect opportunity to double your money.
No, good point. Good point. Well, that video presentation can and should be modified.
We could show it again later.
We could show it again. Yeah, absolutely. The tank top and short shorts are one thing, but there was also a bunny suit at one point.
That was a year before. And it wasn't bunny. Nothing that ridiculous.
Okay.
It was Pikachu.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
But people give me a hard time for wearing that outfit during that. But I'll tell you what, I was in JDT more wearing that outfit than people that were racing that outfit. Mission accomplished.
Very, very good.
So you mentioned how many grants did we do last year?
So we did over 60 grants and scholarships, by the way. And
what's the difference?
Well, that's a good question.
Okay.
A scholarship is going to come from one of our supporters, our vendors.
So they pay for a specific sponsorship for a scholar.
Yep. Correct. And then the grants are going to be any of those things that
doesn't come specifically from one company.
Correct.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So again, this is all in an effort to advance the dental laboratory technology profession. It's advantageous for lab owners across the country, technicians across the country. It gives you an opportunity to jump in, learn, and maybe even become a CDT or advance some specialties within your CDT. And we'd love nothing more than to grow the foundation and award more and more grants and scholarships. That's for sure.
Because every dollar the foundation raises goes right into this, right?
That's it.
There's no one's getting a check. You're not buying. You guys don't have matching jackets that the thing. It all goes right back.
This is all.
Yep. And that's huge.
This is all and we're also developing online education that'll be available to the masses. It is truly an opportunity that folks should take advantage of and make sure that they explore.
Absolutely.
Room's starting to fill up here.
It is.
Elvis.
It is. We're getting ready to start here on the first day of Visions. Are you on stage at all today? Or
we're going to be we're on part of the group that will give some updates. So there'll be further and more in-depth updates today in regards to what the foundation is doing and the vision of where we're going. And look forward to.
So you have time to put my picture back into that thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
good.
Absolutely. We might even start the video off with that.
So. Yeah. Well, if you need it, I have it on my phone.
Fair enough.
Sean, thank you so much.
Thank you,
buddy.
Elvis. Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Let's record you ruining it.
As only I can do.
Steve Killian, past podcast guest from way back, episode probably 2 or 3.
Woo. Early on.
We got you live here at Visions 21 2020, first day, right after the first presentation, the keynote speaker, who I've already forgotten her name.
Diana Kander. She was amazing.
Wasn't she amazing? She came up to me actually while I was setting up the booth and started talking to me. I had no idea who she was. I thought she was from a lab. And she starts drilling me on all these questions. And then I figure out who she is. I was like, I probably said a lot I probably shouldn't have said.
She's tricky like that, and she prides herself at being so. She's so sharp, and having your family background, her parents starting a laboratory, coming from Russia, starting a laboratory after having some crummy jobs when they first immigrated here when Diana was just 8.5 years old. Coming here, and then the parents starting a dental lab after doing other, low-paying jobs, and learning it and being successful. I just talked to Diana, and she says, I hate working in the lab. And I said, what? Because I asked her, have you worked in the lab? She said, no, I don't like all that gooey stuff. And I go, I just laughed. Well, listen, she's got her great book, The Curiosity Muscle, and she gave out 10 of those, for getting, soliciting people to volunteer and talk. At the end. And so I was like, I need one of those books. And and I, as only I can do, I can come up with some pretty stupid things to say. But at any rate, I actually had an intelligent question, and she gave me a book. So a question, and and I needed an answer from her, and she had a fantastic answer. My question was, first of all, I've got a lot of tough customers, as every laboratory owner does. And, customers, in my definition, are your employees and your dentist clients and their staff. And I appreciate feedback, critical feedback. It's how I grow, and I solicit that from everybody. But I can't get my quiet worker bees to, give me critical feedback. They're just too polite and quiet.
Yeah.
And so I asked Diana, how do I get them to talk? And she says, well, you've got to stay in there, engage them, and ask that question in as many ways as you can figure out, at least 3 different ways.
Yeah.
Just don't give up. Don't go away.
Sure.
Keep asking them and get their feedback on how I personally can improve for them or improve their jobs for them.
What thing I've learned is, as managing a lab, you can't manage everybody the same.
True.
You have to approach different employees in different ways in order to get them to engage. Yeah. And those quiet employees are the most mysterious people.
I know.
You love them because they don't disrupt. You love them because they do a good job, and they don't spend a lot of time, talking or on their phones.
Right.
But those are the people that, A, they're going to leave you immediately when they don't like something, because they're not going to cause a conflict to figure it out.
God, I hope not.
And B, they are also the ones to really know what's going on.
Yeah.
They find out what they need to know, what they need to communicate. It's hard.
And mine are so important. Our people have been together. We've been together for a long time, most of us. But I do worry about some of us. Like, they maybe don't make enough money to live alone. So, both spouses work.
Well, you're in California, so you have a huge issue with that.
Well, Elvis, you are in
Indiana.
And you're in charge of how many people in your laboratory? How many people you supervise directly?
Well, in the lab, we got about 42.
42.
Mm-hmm.
And do you deal with department managers, or do you deal with all 42 directly?
We have co-managers, so I have some I co-manage with, and we oversee all.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I work too. We're less than 30, so similar, but I've got main managers that we co-manage with.
We all have focuses,
yeah,
but we work collectively. Like I got one that just focuses on the removable department.
Nice.
I got one that just focuses on just like making sure the work is where it should be and it needs to get out that day. And then I oversee everything.
Let me ask you. So let me be the interviewer now for a second. Let me ask you if you could share what's your takeaway, maybe your biggest challenges that you're going to approach when you go back to work on Monday that Diane stimulated you to think about and work on.
Really, just finding out from the viewpoint of the employees is what I got a lot out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, because you tend to think everything's running smooth, and it might not be in their eyes, and that's important.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I love the idea of taking the time to ask the hard questions to our doctors. What are we doing wrong? Why are you sending other work to other offices and not us? Why? And I think it's going to be hard for them to answer because, while they love to tell you bad things that happen, I think they're a little scared of also just letting you know what you're doing wrong. And you might not think you're doing it wrong because just like employees, every doctor has to be treated differently.
Absolutely.
So what's right to Dr. A is not right to Dr. B.
Along that line, doctors don't necessarily know why we are not able to succeed for them all the time.
Sure.
In listening to one of the questions, Steve, and I don't know his last name, is a friend of mine who works for Stratasys, mentioned that he and his brother's the dentist, he's a technician.
Yeah.
And so Steve offered to go in and watch him prep, watch him impression, watch him deliver the crown, chairside, and assist. He wanted to be there with the suction, literally assist. That just gave me an idea, because I've got some tough customers locally, around the country, but more importantly, I've got a couple locally that I'm very close to, but we have a higher remake rate than we should. And I know we work our butts off to get it correct. And it would be too easy for me now, and I'm going to do this when I go home on Monday. I'm going to call them up and say, hey, we're both struggling a little bit with some of the cases, and neither one of us have the answers, and we continue to have problems with bite, occlusion being high, and this and that, some little, shades being off a little bit. Would it be of value to you, doctor, if I can come by and work chairside with you and see if there's anything I can do? I've been in this business for 46 years. I'm going to see something. Will he trust me enough to come by? And we're literally friends.
Yeah.
We're actually social friends as well. Will he trust me enough to come by? So I think he will, and I'm excited to offer that. I want to come by and hang out, and I want to see if there's anything I can detect. Because we were asking these questions back, why are we not succeeding? Let me come by and hang out chairside and watch you prep, watch you impression, and watch you deliver the crown. And let's see if I can, come up with anything with you.
In your years, how many times have you seen the full clinical start to finish?
So few.
Me too.
And it's so valuable every time I
honestly
can.
have never seen anyone physically prep a tooth, but I've been in the process of making thousands of crowns. It's interesting that it doesn't. We need to spend more time.
So I think that's a big value I'm gonna add. I'm heading toward a time in my career where I have the opportunity to work on the business more than I do in the business. I have a great right hand, and I have a great management team. It enables me to come to this meeting and go to other meetings as I choose, and the place still runs perfectly without me. It's just, I'm so lucky our team is so strong.
And what's amazing is everything we just talked about all stemmed from 1 hour, the first hour of this
so
meeting.
Valuable. If you're not here at Vision 21, I come to this every year. It is the most stimulating part of my year. There's other good meetings around the country. Nothing like this.
Yeah.
Nothing like this.
Nothing.
It's the best.
Nothing. Steve Killian, always a pleasure, sir.
Thanks, Elvis. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Okay, talk
Appreciate
to you
it. Thanks.
We had to have you on here after the breakfast.
So here we are. Day 2 of the Vision 21. I guess it's really day 3. Yeah, when you think about it.
It's day tiresome 3.
Yeah, so we finally have the president available to record
Madam
a little
President.
bit.
Yeah.
Madam Presidente.
And we also have Mr. Donnie Albensi. Welcome.
Thank you for having
The
me.
sharpest looking guy in dental industry, I must say. You clean up well,
Far from
sir.
it, yeah, but thank you.
You clean up well. So you're from
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
NDX Albensi Laboratory. Am I saying that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we sold in October of 2017.
Is your dad still involved?
He is now fully retired. Just built a house down in Naples,
wow.
Florida.
He's
I
moving
think
to
I
Florida,
met him
eh?
once when I started in the industry. Kind of heard about him, and then he was gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here, obviously, in many ways,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him. But he started in the basement in 1979. The day I was born, he got fired from a prosthodontist he was working with.
Imagine that.
And put my mother into labor, and I was literally born into the business because he was starting up a lab in the basement at the time.
Nice.
That's a great story. I don't think I've ever heard that. You're second generation.
Yep.
Amazing.
Is that why your
I love
middle
it.
name is Monomer?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Oh, Elvis threw a funny
There
out.
you go. I
So-
got a few.
So I got to tell you, this was the first time I've seen this many people out this early in the morning,
That's
and
good.
I was told, somebody briefed me, that you actually picked up the champagne cocktails and the vodka, what are they,
Bloody
Bloody
Marys,
Marys?
yeah.
Some Bloody Marys.
And that's amazing.
Yeah,
so
my
thank
pleasure.
you.
Yeah, it was something small I could do to get back here, and
I
thank
saw
everyone
you
for
make that offer, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
You're just like, I got this. I got this.
And we're all happier for it, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah,
So
thank
as
you.
I had
All
a
right.
couple mimosas, and I'm feeling very happy. So
My
thank
pleasure.
you.
I
So-
saw a few people needing that in the
Yes.
morning.
Yeah.
I did, actually.
So how long have you been coming to Vision?
wow. I
That
think
long, huh?
we started in 2015.
Okay.
It's the first year I joined.
Wow, really?
I figured
it was over Treasure Island at the time.
Okay.
Or is that that's the casino over there?
I remember that, yeah.
So I went 2 years there, 2 years here, once at Bally's, and then back to here. It's really nice being back at the Palms.
Yeah. This
nice,
is a great hotel.
Nice and close to the hotel rooms.
Yep.
Everything.
Barely have to go outside. Everything's here.
They did a great job renovating the entire facilities here.
Yeah.
And
super nice.
It was kind of cool running into a few UFC fighters this weekend, too.
I know, right? Yeah. Did they have the weigh-in here?
Yeah,
and
they
the
did
fight, or just
morning.
the weigh-in?
Yep.
So they had the weigh-in
when
here.
we were going upstairs for lunch yesterday, we were in the elevator, and out comes this ginormous scale that they use to weigh them on.
Oh, my God, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was really kind of interesting.
See, it's not just a dental meeting. We have all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We have fighters, porn stars.
Is that still going on this weekend?
No, I think they moved it to next weekend, didn't
yeah.
they? We usually tried to collaborate the two, not we, but it just so happened that we were at the same time, same place. And, so that's pretty cool. You can go people watch your face off, literally.
Yeah, well, it is Vegas. People watching is amazing.
Yes.
But it also allowed me to do my other industry at the same time.
Yep.
Because, the porn star and everything.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But,
So are you even a technician, or are you completely just business?
Yeah, I'm not a technician. I started when I was 15 working in the model and die department.
Yeah.
Didn't we all?
And worked my way up. I went to Penn State University for Information Science and Technology. Worked at U.S. Steel for a year. Left there, started a medical transcription business up, outsourcing to India for a year. And then in 2004, my dad and stepmother asked me to join them full-time, and we started up an offshore division called Innovative Dental Arts. Mm-hmm. That allowed us to reinvest into Albensi Laboratories and purchase some equipment and hire some really talented people to make it all work together. And lo and behold, 15, 16 years later, here we are.
So how big is the lab?
We have about 150 employees.
Ooh.
And
it's beautiful.
We produce about 23,000 restorations per month.
Per month?
Yeah. Yep. And we're in a 30,000 square foot facility, a building we own. We still own it and rent out to NDX. And the other half of that includes a restaurant banquet facility that we hold CE events in and company parties.
And you have
I've been there. It's amazing. Yes. They have
I believe
an awesome restaurant.
Coming up this year, we're going to be doing an NADL roadshow.
Good.
Oh,
at our
your
facility.
I'll be there.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, you're going to Are you going to do those?
Probably, yeah.
Nice.
So I'll probably
Travis
be
did
there.
Last year.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
That's
you're
cool.
pretty much when we had the Megan Nakanishi's panel yesterday, all three of them were non-technical.
Yes.
And I see how their brains work and how that all makes, I should say all four of them because Megan as well. But I see that's kind of where the industry's going. We've got these really smart people that are non-technicians that are starting to really change the way we operate, and I love it. So you're pretty much part of that.
Yeah. I understand the process. I understand what needs to be done, but I'll admit I can't sit down and do it myself.
Let me see your hands. I bet you they're very, you're not a technician. Yeah, they're too nice.
Not mine. I can't say the same. Sorry.
You're too groomed, sir.
Yes, I guess so, huh?
What is Albensi Lab looking? What's the future? What are you guys looking to do? I mean, just continue growing?
Yeah, right now I'm the general manager of our location since the acquisition, and NDX is investing a lot in the technology and growth of our iOS department.
Yeah,
we're currently receiving on average around 500 to 600 cases a day, which makes up about 60% of our fixed business, close to 40% of our removable business, and 25% of our implant business. Yeah. So we're seeing a large adaptation. I think we've hit the tipping point finally in our industry to see
more scans
coming in. But with that comes its own challenges. We have to work with a lot of the dentists to ensure that they're practicing proper tissue management.
Sure.
It's even more important when they move to that part of impression taking because you're not getting the advantages of a hydrophilic pressure pushing the tissue away. So,
that makes a lot
of
sense.
So we work a lot with our dentist in that department. I think we have around 16 people in our iOS department now. Just
accepting cases?
Accepting cases, importing them into 3Shape, getting them into Magic Touch. Yeah. Marking margins. By the way, I'm really excited to see Pearl here.
Yeah, I saw that too yesterday.
I learned a little bit about that. That's an interesting concept. We need to talk to them.
I agree.
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Looks like they do the little bit of the QC or all the QC for us,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Which we have to take that on now, and it's definitely, you have to hire more people. We did.
Yeah, just
the more scans you come in, they have to check them, they have to okay them, or reach out to the client, and we've had to add on people for that as well. So, yeah, I'm glad they're here, too. I love their presentation.
So we talked to Rob Gitman a while ago.
Yes.
And he mentioned how nice it is when NDX, they basically call you and say, here's your meal. Enjoy. Yeah. You don't have to do any of the research or anything.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be pretty nice.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the advantages of being a part of a larger organization such as NDX. There's a lot of business functions and front office work that used to be covered by my father, myself, and Laura, my stepmother. Where we wore many, many hats, and we were able to take a few of those off and focus more on the business and production and focusing on our employees. And
I bet you it gets a lot easier.
Well, they've got Company of the Year, I think. How many years in a row?
Yeah, we had 7 years in a row.
7 years in a row.
So
their
top
employees
top
are
workplace in Pittsburgh.
extremely happy there, which is amazing because employees are so important.
The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette runs a survey annually, and we've been fortunate enough to be on that top workplace for 7 years in a row.
Yeah,
that's a great feat.
It's a great recruiting tool.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
I bet.
Happy people make happy teeth, I'm telling you.
Yes.
I really believe that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks
you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is the first podcast I've ever done. This was a lot of fun.
We'll call you for another one.
Yeah, I would love that.
More
Maybe when we do the roadshow.
Yeah,
right?
that's
great.
perfect. And thank you for the mimosas. I really needed it this
my pleasure.
morning.
My pleasure.
Have a great rest of the week.
Thanks.
Take care.
See you guys.
Bye. Michael from Oregon said that my voice is sexy.
Yours is?
Yes.
Of course it
I
is.
think I sound like a man. And I
No, you
refuse
don't.
to listen to myself.
I'm changing the podcast to Two Dudes About.
2 dudes and a...
Does it just constantly record?
When I hit the button.
When we do this, see, this is what makes it fun, though, because we're just.
You know what I
kinda
really
hanging
like
out
is
and
that
chill.
no one's taking our picture right now while we wear these ridiculous headsets.
Well, just turn your.
Just think
back
how great your
this
hair
way.
will
Do
look
this.
after.
I
Our
got
hair
a lot of
always
hair
looks good.
either way. It doesn't matter. It'll bounce back.
Poof.
Poof.
All right.
So these are the conversations we have at NADL Vision 21.
Last day, last break. Getting
Last
ready for the
break.
last keynote.
We
We are
have-
joined by Heather Voss, CDT, Legacy Dental Arts. Past podcast guest. Been a while.
It's been a while.
Going to
Yeah.
need you to come up with something to say so we can have you on. And, of course,
Got lots of things to
podcast
say.
guest, probably episode 6. I mean,
was
way
early.
back in the day, yeah. Thank you for that, by the way. We didn't know what we were doing. We still don't. But also, Denise Burris, CDT,
Of the
happens
year.
to be the CDT of the year.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Very much.
So accepting that award, there's probably some big names before you.
Yeah, I was looking at the previous recipients,
Yeah.
and they're pretty impressive. So
Yeah.
One of
it's-
them, or did both of them actually, were both Philip and Dan CDTs of the year, or was it just Dan?
No,
that
just
was?
Dan.
Yeah.
So Dan had nominated me, and then Philip had nominated me in previous years.
Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah, those guys are pretty awesome.
And Dan Effering.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll bring
Yeah,
That
he's
guy
my
is so
buddy.
great.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
He totally is.
He's one of the most genuine people in our industry, I think.
He really is. He
Yeah,
really is. He
he's-
actually sent me an email that says, I'm going to nominate you for CDT of the year. And I'm like, dude,
I'm not a CDT.
He's like,
You
what?
can't. I'm not eligible.
I appreciate it. Super nice. But. So you had quite a heartfelt speech last night.
You
I thought so,
did.
too,
That was
yeah.
good. That was really
You
good.
know,
I think we all got a little verklempt during your speech.
Yes, we were tearing up.
We were tearing up and trying to very subtly wipe those tears out of the corners of our eyes
Yep.
so no one could see.
We didn't want to be caught.
We didn't want to be
emotional,
caught,
but
no.
you were amazing
Yeah.
for sure.
I just made sure I wasn't looking at anybody really because
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to say. I had been thinking about it for a few weeks, and honestly, I don't know what I said. So I don't know if I got any of my the things that I wanted to point out.
I think you
mentioned
did.
family.
Yes,
I
you
think you did,
totally
too.
did.
You
Well,
did.
thank
It came
you.
through beautifully.
It did.
And then Heather and myself and Denise and Rachel went out. So we had a very good time for dinner.
Yeah.
Two of my very good friends right here. I'm really enjoying the meeting because we kind of collaborate and hang out together.
So you're
So-
finally available. You've been busy all weekend.
Yes, I have
So
been. Thank you.
presidential duties is not just royalty where people carry your shoes when you walk.
It's not a
Yes.
figurehead. It's a working position.
Yeah. And I must say, you did phenomenal on stage.
Thank
you.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I know you freak out when you go on stage, and that did not come across. So
I
nice
was
work.
really comfortable yesterday.
Nice work,
Thank you.
yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
felt like the speakers were amazing. We especially liked Diana
Oh,
Kander.
the keynote,
She
unreal.
was awesome. Tell
think-
us, I know you, give me your
I just
feeling
think
on
like
her.
this reminded me of like the Vision 21 meetings of years ago, where like you would go to the meeting and you would walk away with like actionable items, right?
Yep.
So you took something away from almost every single one of the presentations, and then you know that when you go back to the lab on Monday, there's like 3 or 4 really great ideas that you're going to want to implement or try or figure out how you can adapt that to your business, and it was really, really valuable.
Yeah,
really
she
valuable.
was amazing.
And I would suggest everyone buy the book Curiosity by her, because I think
For sure.
that was really the premise of it, and it was fantastic. So.
Yeah.
And get your accountability buddies.
Yep.
Yes.
I
For your
know. The
goals.
3 of us talked about that, so we're going to have accountability together.
Yeah.
Like we would talked about every week or every couple weeks.
Every
We'd
couple
come
weeks.
up with some goals and really push each other.
Check
We feel
in.
like we can be honest with each other, just like she said. Someone's
good
going to
idea.
tell you the truth,
Yeah.
which is very rare when you're on the top of the food chain, and I don't mean that egotistically, but when you get to a point in your career, people don't exactly tell you the truth like these
It's
two
lonely
ladies
at
do,
the
so I
top.
love them.
It's lonely at the top. So you got to find people that you can.
How's the
bounce
weather
ideas
up there, by the
That'll
way?
be honest with you.
It's
you know?
chilly.
off. Rarefied
She
air.
said it's chilly.
Elvis.
It's purified.
But Deanna was
Purified air. We're talking Aeromax.
Deanna's connection to dentistry was really impressive
That was
too.
surprising.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
Totally caught me off guard.
You've
Yeah.
got to get her on the podcast
Well,
and really
she
dig
actually,
deeper.
when I was setting up the first day, she walked over, had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
And she just starts asking me
Yeah,
about
she
the
was
podcast.
too casual. She was
and she's all
awesome.
talking about this, and then I realized who it was. I was like, wow, I had no idea. And she said she'd stop back by, but
Well, she stayed in the meeting all day
Yeah,
yesterday.
I thought that was totally cool.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
She was
We've
very
never
good.
she
had a
went to
keynote speaker who
the
ever did
banquet
that.
after.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely we should reach out to her. We should try to get her on because it's a good story.
Absolutely.
I mean, coming
Let's do it.
from the Soviet Union with nothing, and then
Both of her
In
parents
the
started
lab.
a dental laboratory.
That's
How crazy
insane.
is that? Yeah.
that's insane.
Stumbled
And
upon it.
I've
Yep.
heard multiple people say that this has been the best visions in
Really?
a while.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I have.
You guys are on the
I-
business management committee,
Yeah.
so
I agree.
Congrats.
I agree. I think the content's been wonderful. The vibe's been
I
great.
agree.
And everybody, to be honest with you, we actually had mimosas this morning and Bloody
Yeah.
Marys, sponsored by Donnie Albensi, and everybody was down here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. The room was full today.
Yep.
Even for a second day, normally people just straggle in, but it was just, everybody's all in. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I
Super
agree.
positive.
Let me tell you, Dawn asked Rachel, says, so is that cash? And she said, yeah, it's a cash bar. He goes, nope, give me the bill.
Yep.
To be able to do that, that's like
know.
the
Such a
coolest
good
move
guy.
I've ever seen.
That's
in my
rock
life.
star move right
It
there.
was
Yeah.
so
Total
it
rock
was
star
like
move.
he didn't even like react. Just like
No,
I got
he
it.
didn't.
I was like,
You didn't.
Speaking of, we should try to get him on here.
we
and thank
should
him for
most
that
definitely, most definitely.
today. I'll see if I can rein him in. For
Yeah. So what's next for CDT of the year? Where are you going to take this award? You going?
Going back to Atlanta and get back to work.
Super fantastic.
I know.
right?
That's you're surprised to hear that, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
That's all we do is work, work,
You don't
work.
get to retire once you hit that milestone.
Yeah,
you
it's
still
not
got to
the,
work.
yeah.
That's awesome.
But how has the presidency weekend been for you?
Really good, thank you.
Yeah.
It's been exhausting. I actually slept last night. I haven't slept in like 4 or 5 nights.
Well,
And
you've been like a
Heather and
ping
I are
pong
rooming
ball.
together because I have this beautiful suite. Next year, we should all be in it. It's wonderful. So
well, that means next year we'd all have to be with Rob Gitman.
yeah,
in the room,
not
so
happening.
I don't know about
I'm not
that.
shacking up with Rob. You may want to shack up with Rob, and I'm leaving that to you.
I like the guy, but
Not
not
gonna
that
happen.
much.
That's funny.
That's great. So what is next for the president? What do you have to, I mean,
I think they have me speaking at pretty much every event this year.
Do you?
So in Chicago, I'm speaking. And then as the year goes on, Travis Sick told me that they pretty much will call me and say, hey, can you do this event? All of the events you and I will be at.
with the
I'll
podcast?
probably be at, so it'll be a good thing. But I think we have our meeting in April.
Yeah.
April,
Our
yeah.
next meeting. We have some conference calls, and we have a meeting after this today, a wrap-up meeting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with the flow. I really don't know that it doesn't come with an itinerary, but
That's
it comes
crazy.
with 150% focus on my part. I'm super excited, ready for whatever comes my way.
Yeah.
So.
So what do you speak at in Chicago?
Actually, it's not for NADL. It's for the IDT magazine. They asked me to do
The women's breakfast?
No, it's a panel on a Wednesday night. So I'm not sure yet because they haven't given me a whole lot of details. But Rob Cryer asked if I would do it.
Nice.
And I always say yes.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. So I think the more I can get out there and talk about things, the better.
Yeah.
And the more comfortable I am.
Nice.
So I'm happy to do it.
Wear a podcast T-shirt.
Yep.
Well, you know the year will go by fast.
Yeah.
It always does.
It will go real quick.
Yeah.
So we're almost ready for the last presentation. You guys have anything else to add? I don't know.
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming
everybody. Great meeting.
Congratulations
Always good to see
again
you.
to Denise on
Thank you.
CDT of the
Well
Year
deserved.
and Barb on
Thank
becoming
you.
NADL president. Good
Women
things
rule,
this year. Women
ladies.
rule.
Give me it up here.
Nice.
Yes.
They are high-fiving
We're so bad
without
High
me.
fiving.
Really
And
terrible.
we didn't even
Really
make the high
uncoordinated,
five.
but
That was
yeah.
pretty bad.
Fantastic. Thank God this isn't videotaped.
Don't forget us little people at the top.
You're at the top, too.
So,
All right.
awesome. Appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you,
guys.
See you in
Elvis.
Chicago.
Peace out.
So did you know, guys, that Whipmix manufactures a full array of 3D print resins featuring the only FDA-cleared splint resin? The company printed resin offering includes model materials in golden brown, ivory, white, and soon to be available gray. And it also includes surgical guide, burnout, and custom tray materials. The latest resin in the group of printable resins is called Verisplint, which is the very first and presently only FDA-cleared print material that prints quickly and results in an accurate and economical hard splint. Their customers can now print a full build platform in under 1 hour at a cost of just $5 to $6 per splint. This exceptional resin has been validated by the FDA on a Siegel 385nm DLP printers and is fully biocompatible. Have you started printing your splints yet? No, let's do it. Consider this. Printing them provides a considerably higher level of efficiency because it avoids several lengthy steps when compared with conventional methods. But most importantly, it brings a greater degree of design flexibility into the process, which improves both the lab and the patient's experience. Whether you're printing splints, models, surgical guides, casting patterns, or trays, consider increasing your productivity and your profitability with Whipmix VeriBuild resins. Head over to whipmix.com for more information, and thank you, Whipmix, for sponsoring our podcast. So what an amazing group of interviews, Elvis. I wish I was in all of them, but I wasn't. A big thank you to Sean Siegel, Steve Killian, Don Albensi, Heather Voss, and Denise Burris. All of these people are not only really good technicians and lab managers or owners, but they give back to the industry. They sit on the board with us, both on NADL and the Foundation. Sean is the chair of the Foundation of Dental Lab Technologies. Steve just stepped down from the board after years of service. Don is a member with Elvis and I on the NADL board, and Heather and Denise are both past chairs of the National Board of Certification, and now both sit on the NADL board with us. We're not political or anything. It really shows how much they care about the industry as a whole and see the importance of working together to strengthen our industry. And that is what Vision 21 is about and what our podcast is about. And even though the biggest dental laboratory show of the year is over, LMT, thank you, that doesn't mean that there are not a ton of really good events still happening around the country. At the end of this month is one of our favorite shows and one Elvis and I attended last year for the first time. March 26th through 28th is the DLAT Southwest Conference and Expo, which is the Texas show, correct? In Grapevine, Texas. This is a big show with an even bigger heart. Last year, like I just said, was our first meeting. We didn't know what to expect, but we were surprised and happy to see how much was going on. Elvis and I are super excited to be headed back again to record all the great technicians from that part of the country. A lot of really cool things are lining up for this event. Thursday night, before the meeting, Elvis and I will be recording at the evening event hosted by Alien Milling, and it's at Top Golf. And if you've never been to Top Golf, it's super cool. They've got food, drinks, and you can sit there and hit the shit out of a golf ball and make yourself feel awesome. Or is that just how I feel? I just like hitting the hell out of anything. So there you have it, except for people, just saying. This will be our first time recording at this casual, fun, and alcohol-available event. And don't worry, I'm not going to drink. This should be more entertainment than you can handle. Then Elvis and I will be on stage doing an interview right after the keynote on Friday morning. This will be our first time we record on stage live in front of a studio audience. Wow, it's like a sitcom from the 80s. And then the rest of the weekend, we will be at the Argon booth. Thank you, Argon. Setting up to record anyone and everyone willing to come over and sit down. And because the board of the DLAT are so awesome, they have extended a free general admission to the conference to anyone who is active military. That's pretty awesome. I love that. Thank you. Let everyone know in the industry that is an active military person that they can attend this great event for free. Thank you, DLAT, for doing that.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
That is amazing.
If you're listening, come to the DLAT.
All right, everybody. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Yay. Have a good week.
Bye. That was a struggle. Have you heard about the amazing milling company called Alien Milling Technologies?
Damn, Elvis, I think we saw them at Lab Day. They had that cool Space Invaders game set up where one lucky person won an Alienware laptop.
Yeah, that was them. Did you know that they can mill everything your lab might need? Everything like crowns, abutments, partials, night guards, surgical guides, even titanium bars?
Wow, that's a lot of milling. I also hear that they mill all of those things right here in the United States.
They sure do. That allows them to keep the turnaround time down to a minimal. Usually, everything is next day.
That's amazing. What if I want to use them occasionally but don't want them to look different from the crowns that I mill in-house?
Well, that's easy, silly. They sell their zirconia and pucks, so you can mill your own Alien Milling brand crown.
Wow.
Yeah, they offer some fantastic types in various strengths, translucencies, even a multi-layered puck.
That is great. It's nice to know that there's a milling center out there that can do everything 100% in the United States and help support the labs.
You bet. Check them out at alienmilling.com. Thanks for your support of the podcast.
Thank you.